Good morning everyone. Welcome back to our channel. Today I am dealing with a topic from Pedagogy of English from BEd 3rd semester, topic 1.1 Need for Communication from the Unit 1 Language Across Curriculum. So in today's class we are going to learn about need for communication, meaning and definition of communication, elements of communication, verbal and non-verbal communication, and how to improve effective communication skills in students. Okay students, let's get started. First we shall know what is the meaning of communication. Communication is a process of passing information and understanding the same from one person to another through verbal and non-verbal. It means communication is a process by which two or more people exchange their ideas, exchange their feelings or impressions in ways that each gain a common understanding of the means. So that is used in messages. For example, here we can able to see the pictures in this slide. So here the sender, message, receiver and interpretation. That means sender is passing some message to receiver and receiver tries to interpret, that means try to understand the message passed by the sender. It means the imparting or exchanging of information by speaking, writing or using some other medium such as phones, computer, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, live mocha. So now it is clear that the activity or process of conveying information through the exchange of thoughts, ideas, messages, information as by speech, visual, signals, writing or behavior. So it may take between two or more than two people or between the two groups. That is called communication. So we shall know the origin of the word communication. So the word communication has been derived from Latin word communis, which means to share the experience, and the definition is the exchange of ideas between human beings is known as communication. We can exchange our ideas through words, pictures, signs or body language. So dear student, the term communication extracted from the Latin word communism, it means common. So sharing the ideas, thoughts and to fulfill the needs and desires of listeners as well as the sender is called communication. Writers, authors, linguistics had been derived and defined the word communication like M.C. Quayle, Rogers and Shoemaker, Dama and Bhatnagar, Robert Anderson and so on. But I had taken here two more definitions for your exam point of view. So according to Webster's dictionary, communication is a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols and signs of behavior. And according to Robert Anderson, communication is the interchange of thoughts, opinions or information by speech, writing or sign. So as I told you earlier, the word communication is a process which the information is going to be exchanged between the individuals. There may be two individuals or more than two individuals, okay, and it can be exchanged through system of symbols or signs or the behavior of an individuals. And the next definition is the communication is interchange of thoughts. That means the exchange of thoughts, the exchange of opinions, the exchange of information is going to be exchanged between two or more people or two or more groups is called communication. So this interchange of ideas, thoughts and opinions or information can be done or can be passed through speech or through writing or through signals and symbols. Okay. This is called cycle of communication, the communication cycle. So here sender who sends the message or who pass the information is called sender, and second is message. For good communication there must be a message, any subject or any information to exchange of ideas and thoughts. Without any subject or any message, the communication cannot take place. And the next one is transmission and noise. So it is purely important that the language and sounds made by both the persons or groups who involved in the communication, they are speaker and listener. Fourth one is receiver. Receiver means here listener who decode the information and sends a response with respect to the context of the topic. That means the listener's part is to listen the speaker words and act accordingly to the words of the speaker. So now it is feedback. Who gives the feedback, which is the final link in the chain of communication through spoken, commenting, signals, written messages, or any of the like smile, waving our head, blinking our eyes, like that. Okay. Before moving towards the elements of effective communication, let us know what is effective communication. The definition of effective communication. Effective communication is a two-way process, sending the right message that is also being correctly received and understood by the other person. Effective communication is a process through which the sender conveys a message that the receiver readily receives and understands. It is a two-way process instead of a one-way process. It means the ability to convey information to another effectively and efficiently. It refers to communication skills help to facilitate the sharing of information between peoples with correct understanding without any barrier, because the faulty communication leads to misunderstanding and lowers the efficiency and effectiveness of both the parties. So here communication also can bifurcate into two kinds. They are interpersonal and intrapersonal communications. So interpersonal communication takes place every time we interact with others. So intrapersonal means sometimes we can speak, or we may speak many times with ourselves when we want to decide something and listen to speak to our mind or heart. So that is intrapersonal communication. Okay. So here are the two main elements of effective communication. So here the first is verbal communication. Verbal communication contributes 45% of our communication because it involves the use of language, and this normally gives the meaning of the words used in communication, and concrete or abstract any of the communication. That means concrete words which are an objects and which can be seen with our naked eyes. Abstract words cannot be seen and it can only felt. That means we can only feel and express. So here the role of jargons plays a crucial role in effectiveness of communication. So the word jargon means this term is specialized or technical language that is only understood by those who are in the same group. For example, the legal profession has many terms that are considered as jargon, so used only by the lawyers and judges, only by the legal professionals. So dear student, verbal communication becomes effective through the choice of right words or phrases leads to good communication. So verbal communication means communication with words, whether it is written or spoken forms. Okay. Are the words used to exchange the information. This can be in person or by telephone or can be written or oral. There are in written forms reports, memos, emails, facts, illustrations can be sent. But whereas in the oral type of communication, face to face, telephone, conversation, dictating letters, group discussions, meetings, speech can be done in oral communication. Okay. So dear students, non-verbal communication means the process of sending and receiving messages without using the words, either in spoken or written. For example, it includes like the smile, wink of eyes, waving our head and hands, smile on our face, winking our eyelashes, and like waving our hands. That means without the use of the words, it can be done by oral. So the language, all these activities communicate something without the use of spoken or written forms. Even if you do not say a word, our silence can be a part of communication. So in a non-verbal communication, the way of sending messages are giving response. So these things which are not expressed orally are in written includes in the communication. But speaker as well as listener should maintain and ensure a proper blend between words and actions. Otherwise, it may take to reverse or like misunderstanding. So it may become a barrier to a good communication. So I have listed some very important examples about non-verbal communication. They are: the first is kinesthetic, the paralanguage, and the vocal interference. So here are the three best examples for non-verbal communication. The first one is kinesthetic. Kinesthetic is nothing but the body movement. So any movement from our body like eye contact, facial expressions, gestures, postures, or touch, haptics, that means communication via physical touch, is our earliest form of communication and can be used to communicate with affection, but also power and status is taken into consideration. Okay. And the next example is paralanguage. Any sound associated with the message, pitch, volume, rate, speed, or the quality of what our sounds like function are as paralanguage. So this includes accents, cultural forms of our speech. So next is vocal interference. The extraneous sounds or vocal tics we make while saying something. Okay. So dear students, here I have listed down some effective communication skills in students to improve among them. Okay, so the first is motivate students to initiate and engage in conversation. So it is very essential to motivate the students to initiate and involve them and engage in conversation. That means most of the students may not want to talk at all. This makes it tough for them to show their feelings properly when upset or stressed. So it is very much necessary, or it is a part and parcel of the elders like teachers or parents to involve the students to conversation. Okay. The next skill to be developed among the students are create a safe ambience. Create a supportive and safe ambience where students feel comfortable to open up and show their ideas and thoughts. This will help students to improve effective communication skills. So it is our responsibility to create a suitable environment to the students or to children to open up their feelings. Okay, so it is very much important to create an atmosphere or to create an environment where the students wants to be like free. That means they feel somewhat free to express the thoughts. Or next is active listening. Show students that you care about what they feel and want to say by listening actively. Listen to hear students, not only to respond and give an answer. It means we should spend some time to listen the words which are expressed by the students. That means you should create an opportunity or provide an opportunity to students to say something, and we should be able to listen, and we should be create the time to spend with the children and not only listening to them and give answers to the questions or doubts asked by the students. Okay. teamwork. Doing group work and more team activities is an excellent way to take concentrate off competing with one another and focus more on working together to achieve great results. As it makes children to be very active, and involving students among the children makes the pupils being very active. Next is allow students to share opinions. Allow students to share their opinions in the classroom is also makes a vital way to improve effective communication in students, and also it helps to develop the creativity among the students and the leadership qualities among the students by involving some group discussions and some activities or some group activities like that. Okay. And the last one is positive feedback. The positive feedback encourages students to perform better in all the fields. Giving positive feedback is an essential part of effective communication in students. So positive feedback encourages the students to do work in very active for the next time. So it develops the curiosity and improves the creativity, and also increases the interest among the students to do the work very active. So this is all about today's topic. Okay, thank you.